Hi, and welcome to Easy WordPress Websites. This is Angie Meeker, and thank you for joining me. In our previous videos, we've learned how to install WordPress, create users, adjust the general settings, and looked at an overview of the dashboard. In this video, I'll be showing you how to add content to your site, both pages and posts. Let's get started. You can see here we've logged into our site, and let me show you quickly what we'll be doing. We'll be adding pages, which are static pages like About Us, Contact Us, Location, Services, pages that aren't going to change. You can see WordPress describes them as, this is an example page. It's different from a blog post because it will stay in one place and will show up in your site navigation. Most people will start with an About page that introduces them to potential site visitors. So, let's start with adding pages. Now you can remember that we will find pages. Let's collapse some of these things that we had open earlier so we can just focus on pages. We'll find pages in the dashboard under Pages. Now if we click on All Pages, we'll see an overview of all of the pages we have on our site. Right now we only have one page, just Sample Page, but let's go ahead and add a new one. Click Add New. And then we want to enter the title of our site. So let's just call this page Services or Our Services. Then down here we'll type a description of our services. We'll type a description of our services. Well, you get the idea even if I'm spelling it wrong. I'm going to go back and just grab some more dummy text to throw in here real quick so you can see what the formatting will look like. We'll paste that in. And anytime that you want to add formatting to this, if you're familiar with a word processing program like Microsoft Word or well, whatever the equivalents of that are, or if you've used email or anything like that, then you should be familiar with this top row of buttons here. You can bold text, you can make it italic, you can italicize it, you can strike through it, you can create bullets of information. Like let's say that we wanted to create several bullets of information here. We would create our lines of text and then highlight them and then click the bullets, and you can see now we have 2 bullets here. You can quote some information just by highlighting it and clicking the quote, and you'll see when we publish our page what exactly that looks like. You can choose whether you want your text to be aligned to the left, the center, or the right. Let's go ahead and align that to the right. And then if you need to make text in your content linked to another page, whether it's in your site, whether it's a post in your site, or to an external site, here's how you do that. Just highlight it and then click this little button that looks like a link. When you do that, you'll be given the option to insert a URL here. So you would just type this out. Let's go ahead and we'll put Angie Meeker Designs here. And then type in a title. Now remember, when you're typing in the title, make the title very descriptive of the URL itself. There are some readers, some text readers for people with disabilities that when they are reading a website, they read that title rather than the text that you have highlighted. And so we want to also choose to open it in a new tab. That's just becoming very standard these days. So we want to click Add Link. You could have also linked to your existing content very easily. So let's say we want to highlight this text, click that same link button, and then instead of typing in an external URL here, just click this or link to existing content. And what you'll see here is you'll have a list of all of your posts and all of your pages. And you can just click on that and it will pre-fill that information for you. It's a very good practice to link to other pages and posts within your own site to help the search engines find the content within your website more easily. So we're going to go ahead and do that. This tag, this is what's called a more tag, and it is, let's see if I can find a post to explain it. Actually, let's go back to my site and that will explain it very well. Okay, so here we are at one of my sites. My name is Angie.com. When you look at my site here and we look at this most recent post, we see a lot of information. I'm displaying the entire content of this first post about this Easy WordPress website seminar that I did. The entire thing is showing up. But what if I didn't want to show the entire post on my blog page? What if I only wanted to show a portion of it? Like on this post that was called Write Down Your Goals and Let Me Help You, I only wanted to show like the first paragraph. So how do you do that? How do you choose to only show like an excerpt of the post on your blog pages? Well, you use that more tag. So you can see here, when I click this continue reading tag, or continue reading link, it will take me to the rest of the post. And so here's how you do that. We come back to our post that we're writing, and we click the spot that we want our content to break. So everything before this spot will show up on the front page, or anywhere there's like an archive of our post. And everything after that will show up after that continue reading link. So let's go ahead and come back up here to this little tag that if you hover over it, it says insert more tag. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And you can see it put a little line in there that says more. Now it won't show up looking exactly like that when you publish your page. This is just what it looks like in your editor. But it's letting you know everything before this is your excerpt and everything after this is what's going to show up when you click continue reading. You can spell check your information. You can choose to edit your post in what's called full screen, or some people call this ghostwriter. This is helpful if you are if you get easily distracted. You can just write like this without all of having to look at all of your dashboard and things like that. And if you come up here to the top of your screen, you still have all of your basic editing tools. And then if you want to exit full screen and go back to your full dashboard, you just click exit full screen. This little button on the end is called Show and Hide Kitchen Sink, and it hides this next row of icons, which provide you further formatting options for your site. And these aren't just basic formatting options. These options change not just the way that your text looks, but they change the way that search engines read the text that you're changing. And let me explain what I mean. Like if we highlight this text here and we come over to our options here and we choose H1, what we're telling the search engines is that, hey, everything that I've highlighted here and marked as heading 1 is the most important heading on my entire site. And if I choose heading 2, it's the second most important stuff on this entire site. It's like, if you were creating an outline of your site, these would be the heading outlines of your site. And so that's what that does. And it does change the actual way that the text looks on your site as well. And so let's go ahead and click, we'll call this heading 2. And when we publish our page, you'll be able to see some of these formatting changes that we've made so far. You can choose to underline information. Please don't underline information. The standard web accessibility rules, and when I say that I mean like how people with disabilities interact with the internet, is that something that is underlined is a link. It's a hyperlink. And so if you choose to underline information for emphasis, then someone who is reading it with a disability is may very well assume that that information is a hyperlink when really it's not. It's really just something that you've tried to emphasize. So keep that in mind. You may be trying to just emphasize something when in reality it's not. You've made your website less accessible to someone who has a disability. Then you can see again you have the option to make your text block aligned or aligned full. You can change the color of your text. See, we can highlight this and change the color of the text here. You can paste in blocks of text as plain text, which is helpful if you're pasting in text that has a lot of formatting that you want to make sure all of the formatting gets stripped out. Or, very important, if you're pasting in information from Microsoft Word, click this Word icon and it will pop up just this little paste bin for you to paste in your information there. And what that will do is it will strip out all of this unseen formatting that Microsoft Word leaves in your content that will mess up the formatting of your page. You won't be able to see that you won't be able to see all of the extra formatting yourself, but it's there and it will mess up your formatting. It will leave all of your intended formatting, like all of your bolds and your indents and that type of thing, all of the stuff that you mean to be there, but it will take out all of the stuff that is specific to Microsoft Word. And so that's very, very important. The rest of these things, the only other thing that I can really say that most people will use, some people will use the insert custom character function. Again, some of these are standard word processing functions. You know, if you are someone who uses the custom character function, then you know what that is for in the first place. If you need to indent text, you can do that as well. You just highlight it and indent it. It will indent, it will indent that entire paragraph. So if you needed just a portion of that indented, then you would need to create just a paragraph for that. And you can undo what you've done. So obviously we wanted to undo that because that wasn't what we wanted. We wanted just a portion of that indented. So there you go. So that's the basic editor functions. Those editing functions are the same for post and pages. They don't change. You can also insert images. Let's come down here to insert an image. Inserting an image on both post and pages is as simple as coming to Upload, Insert, clicking the very first icon, and then you have the option to select files. This first option will select files from your computer, but you can also paste in a URL from an image that's already on the internet somewhere, and then you can type in the title that you would like to display for that image. You can choose if you want the image to be left aligned, center aligned, right aligned, and if you want the image to have a caption underneath it. You can also choose the text that you want to appear when someone hovers over the image, and if you want the image to link to the image itself, to another URL, or to nothing at all. So when someone clicks on that image, what do you want to happen? Do you want it to go to the full image, to nothing, or to some other URL? Or you can choose an image that already exists in your media library. We don't have anything in our media library yet because we haven't uploaded any images. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll choose a picture from our computer. You can choose multiple pictures at once. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can do that just by Control Shift and then selecting the pictures that you want. And then what you'll see is it will do what is called crunching. It will crunch through all of the pictures that you've uploaded. And once those images are uploaded, you then have two choices. You can insert into this poster page one of the individual pictures that you've just uploaded, or you can choose to upload all of the pictures that you've just uploaded as a gallery. And so I'll show you how to do both of those. WordPress has a built-in gallery function, which is helpful if, let's say, you're writing about an event or a new group of products that you have and you want to display all of a group of pictures at once. You don't need an additional plugin or any other features to show a gallery. You don't need to use an outside service. You have a very simple gallery feature built into WordPress. And so what we're going to do, we're going to insert this individual picture just by clicking Show. You can see it's just a picture of my daughter and I. We're going to change the title, like I said, to, we're just going to call it Daughter and Angie. I don't necessarily need any alternate text or a caption or a description. I'm going to have this image go just to the image, just like it is, and I want to leave it left aligned. I'm going to insert a medium thumbnail, which is about 300 pixels by 168, and I'm going to insert it into the post. Now you can see it inserted the post right there next to the text that I wanted it to. And then what I want to do is I'm going to insert the gallery of pictures down here at the very bottom of the post. So let's go back to that Upload Insert button. And you can see now under our options we have a choice called Gallery. And that's because we uploaded to this post 4 pictures. Those same 4 pictures are now also in our media library, but they are in a gallery specific to this particular post. And so you can go into these individual pictures and change the titles and the alignment and that sort of information. And when you're done with that, then you can choose how you want your gallery to display. Do you want the thumbnails to link to the image, or do you want them to link just to a page that displays a smaller version of the picture? I would say link to the image itself. Do you want the gallery to display in 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns? Since I only uploaded 4 pictures, I'm going to say 2 columns. That way that'll display 2 by 2. So let's go ahead and insert gallery. What you'll see is it will display this little camera with a picture placeholder. So now we've got our content box the way that we want it. Let's go ahead and publish now, and I'll show you the options around publishing. Now you can save this as a draft. WordPress does automatically save as you're going, but go ahead and save it as a draft. You can tell your installation if you want this to be a draft or if you want it to be pending review. Let's say you wanted one of your other users to have to review it before you published it. You would just click OK. Well, we've already saved it as a draft, so you can choose if you want the visibility to be public, if you want it to be password protected, and if you did want it to be password protected, then the post would publish to your site. So let's say we're here, we're looking at the site, Hello World would show up, but it would say a password is required to view this post, and it would give a little box for you to enter the password. And you would choose the password that would need to be entered right here. Or you can say that you want this post to be private altogether, and if you want it to be private, then it won't even show up here unless you're a logged in user to the site. Then you would just click OK. We're going to leave it public, and you can choose to publish this post immediately. I'm sorry, page. We're looking at pages. You can choose to publish this page immediately, or you can choose to schedule to publish this page in the future. So let's say you had 4 pages that you wanted to write all at once, but you didn't want them to publish until later this week. You can do that. Just enter your date here that you want them to publish. So we want them to publish now. So we're going to go ahead and click OK, and then just click Publish, and that will publish your page. A few other options that you have with pages, we have right now we only have 1 page, but if we wanted this page that we're creating to be a child, what's called a child of this page that we already have created called sample page, then we could do that. So you can begin to nest pages in how you organize your site. You would just say that I want this page to be a child of the page, sample page. And you can choose the default template. Now this particular theme only has 2 templates. It has this template that we're looking at now, which has content on the left side and then a sidebar on the right side. But it also has a template which we'll choose for this particular page of 1 column in the center with no sidebar at all. And so that's what we're going to choose. So let's go ahead and publish this so that we can see what it looks like. We'll go back to our site and refresh. We haven't added this site to the menu, so because we haven't added it to our menu, it's not showing up in our menu at the top level, but because it is a child page, here it is right here. So let's go ahead and click Our Services. And here's the page that we just created. Here's the title of the page, our description, our bullet points that we bolded some, our quote. This is our A2 heading. We changed the colors. Here's our links. our images, and our galleries. And so you can see it's quite easy to create content. We've already, we've been doing this for a little over an hour and a half, and now we've already created pages for our site. Now this process, like I said, is basically the same for post. We'll go up here to post, and what you'll see right away is a listing of all of your posts, which you can sort by dates or by categories. Let's go ahead and click Add New. Then we'll type in a new post for us. And the same thing, you would add your content here. All of the same formatting options are here. The two big differences, or a few of the differences between post and page options, are that under visibility, you'll have an option to stick this post to the front page. So if we go back to our home page right now, you'll see the first post says Hello World. Now, when we publish the next post, because blogging or posting is time sensitive, the most recent post will automatically show up next. Well, what if we want this post that we're creating to always stay first on the site and every other post to fall after that, even if another post is newer? Well, that's okay. You can do that. You can say stick this post to the front page, and this post will always show up before other posts, even if the other posts are published first. And so all of the rest of these options are the same. You do have, with this particular theme, there are some options in the formatting of the post, how the post displays. You have the option to keep it standard, which is the content to the left and the sidebar to the right. Or you can create an aside, which is a very small, almost Twitter-like update. It is a format best used for posts that are maybe 1 or 2 sentences, because it strips out some of that extra content like category and things like that. Or gallery, if you have a lot of images and you know that this is going to be a post that is pretty much just a photo gallery, then you can choose that. And then also for your post, you should choose a category for your post. Now right now the default installation of WordPress only comes with a category called uncategorized. You can leave it like that if you'd like to, but it will be best and easiest for your guest if you categorize your post. And you can do that by clicking Add New Category. You just create your categories right here. Let's say we're going to create a category called Flowers, and it's not a parent, it is not a child category of any other category, so it's not a subcategory. We'll just click Add New, and you can see automatically it will add this post to that category. Well, what if you say, no, I changed my mind, I want it to be in flower pots, and flower pots is a subcategory of flowers. Well, that's okay, just add that. But you don't need to add this post to both flowers and flower pots if it's intended to be in the child category, because WordPress will automatically also categorize it in flowers for you. So if someone is visiting your site, like we come back, actually let's publish this first. Let's go ahead and publish. Then we'll refresh. If someone is visiting your site and looking at your categories over here, they'll see flower pots, and they will also be able to look at the categories of flowers and see that this post under flowers as well as flower pots, because it was technically, it was in the flowers category, it was just in a child category of flowers. Now, featured image. On this particular theme, the featured image for a post, let's get into this post that we're working on, new post for us. The featured image for a post is this header image up here. It will change this header image per post. So let's go ahead and do that so that you can see that. So you can see that happen. Get let's see. Just choose another picture. Every theme uses their featured post a little bit differently, and featured posts can be used in really creative and exciting ways. The only way really to know how your theme is going to use the featured post is really simply to read your instructions. However, the way to utilize that featured post feature or featured image feature is to click Set Featured Image, and then just like you were uploading an image as before, you'll see the options to select an image from your computer, from a URL, or from your media library, and then when you scroll down, you'll see this link that says Use as Featured Image. So click that, and then click Save All Changes. Then you can X out of that. Then you'll see here, you'll see a small thumbnail of that image. So let's come up and we'll update. Make sure that updated. We'll come back to our site and reload. And you can see now it took that image and used it here in the header. Now again, every site is different. On my website design site, this area here is a featured image, as is this image that shows in the background here. These are featured images. On mynameIsAngie.com, let me look at the blog examples. These little tiny thumbnails here are featured images. And so like I said, it really depends on the theme that you're using and how that theme uses its featured images, whether it even uses featured images at all. Every theme is different. But now you know at least how to use that featured image option. So okay, now you know how to add both posts and pages to your site. You know how to add content to your site. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to change the entire look of your site in less than a minute by changing the default theme on your site, or I'm sorry, changing the theme on your site and the theme settings such as your widgets and your menus and navigation. Thank you again for joining me, Angie Meeker at Easy WordPress Websites.